Get your dirty hands off that seat. Jessica Morrison's voice cut like a blade. She yanked Robert Hayes backward by his collar. I'm sorry, ma'am. This is my seat. Your seat? She laughed in his face. Look at you, smell you. This is business class. For real people, not trash. I paid for this ticket, ma'am. Liar. She snatched his wallet, threw it down the aisle. Probably stole it like everything else your kind steals. Robert bent to retrieve it. His hands shook. She grabbed his face. Her palm exploded across his mouth. Blood sprayed. His glasses shattered on the floor. Robert stood there, silent. His cheek burned red. He was 72 years old, a retired postal worker. 3 rows ahead, a man in a Tom Ford suit stood abruptly. His jaw clenched tight. What happened next on Flight 447 would destroy more than one career. Robert Hayes didn't fight back. He simply stood there, blood dripping from his split lip. His hand pressed against the red marks on his cheek where her nails had dug in. He was a retired postal worker, 72 years old. He'd worn his best navy blazer today, the one Margaret had bought him for their 40th anniversary, 5 years ago, before cancer took her. In his shirt pocket, folded carefully, was a photo. Margaret smiling at their kitchen table, her reading glasses perched on her nose. That was 2 months before the diagnosis. Robert had saved $130 every month for half a year. No restaurants, no cable TV. He ate oatmeal for breakfast and sandwiches for dinner. All so he could fly business class once, just once, to see what it felt like. His granddaughter Maya was graduating from Northwestern. Top of her class, pre-med. She was the first in their family to finish college. Robert wanted to arrive feeling dignified, wanted to walk into that ceremony with his head high. Now his shirt was splattered with blood. Jessica Morrison watched him with satisfaction. She smoothed her blonde hair back into place, adjusted her name tag. 8 years she'd worked for Crown Atlantic Airlines. 8 years of dealing with passengers who thought they were special. She knew the rules. She made the rules in her cabin. Behind her, route manager Derek Sullivan approached. He was 41, thick neck, arms crossed. He'd gotten Jessica out of trouble before. 17 complaints in the last 2 years, all mysteriously closed. Everything okay here, Jess? His voice was casual, like this was routine. The passenger became aggressive when I asked for identification, Jessica said smoothly. He grabbed my wrist. I defended myself. A lie, but Derek nodded. He always did. 3 rows ahead in first class, Marcus Hayes sat perfectly still. He wore a charcoal Tom Ford suit, custom tailored, a Patek Philippe Nautilus on his wrist, 45 years old, clean-shaven. His Wall Street Journal lay folded on the tray table. He'd watched everything. When Robert boarded, Marcus had glanced up. Their eyes met for half a second. Marcus looked away immediately, deliberately. He turned back to his newspaper. Other passengers might have wondered why a son wouldn't greet his father. Why would he let an old man struggle with his bag alone? Marcus had his reasons. He pulled out his phone, typed quickly under the tray table where no one could see. Activate protocol, flight 447, document everything. He pressed send. Then he opened his recording app, set the phone on his armrest, camera facing backward. Sarah Carter stood in the galley. She was 32, a junior flight attendant, Korean-American. She'd worked with Jessica for 3 years, 3 long years. She'd seen this before. Different faces, same pattern. Last month, an Indian passenger questioned about his unusual food, made to throw it away. 2 months ago, a Hispanic woman accused of stealing a blanket, the blanket Jessica had handed her. 6 months ago, a black teenager removed for looking suspicious. He'd been reading a physics textbook. Sarah kept a folder on her personal laptop. Jessica Morrison, incidents. 23 documented cases, photos, witness statements, timestamps, every complaint filed, every complaint closed by Derek Sullivan, his signature on every dismissal form. She wanted to speak up now. Her mouth opened. Jessica shot her a look. Sharp. Warning. Sarah's mouth closed. She turned back to the beverage cart. Her hands trembled. Not yet. She needed someone who couldn't be silenced. Someone with power. Crown Atlantic Flight 447 was a Tuesday afternoon departure. Atlanta to Chicago. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Boeing 737. 16 business class seats. Cream leather. Mood lighting. Professional crew of 4. The airport was chaotic. Post-pandemic travel had exploded. Every flight was packed. The staff stretched thin. Complaints up 34% industry-wide. Airlines were hiring anyone with a pulse. Training was cut from 6 weeks to 3. Customer service scores plummeted. But Crown Atlantic had bigger problems. 6 months ago, they settled a discrimination lawsuit. $2.3 million. 3 black passengers removed from a flight to Miami. Suspicious behavior. They'd been lawyers attending a conference. The settlement included mandatory diversity training. Jessica had taken the online module, scored 71%. Passing was 70. She'd clicked through without reading. Finished in 18 minutes. Her personnel file showed the completion certificate. Nothing else. Crown Atlantic's CEO had sent a company-wide memo. Enhanced security protocols. Corporate speak for watch certain passengers more closely. Jessica had interpreted it her way. In the cockpit, Captain Reynolds reviewed the flight plan. 28 years of flying. He was 54. Gray at the temples. 2 daughters in college. He'd heard the commotion in the cabin, heard Jessica's raised voice, but cockpit doors stayed locked now. Post 9/11 protocol. He checked the passenger manifest on his tablet, scrolled through names. His finger stopped. Seat 1A. Marcus Hayes. Captain Reynolds' stomach dropped. He zoomed in, read the name 3 times. Marcus Hayes, CEO of Hayes Global Holdings, the company that had acquired 67% of Crown Atlantic Airlines 6 months ago. The buyout had been quiet, not yet public, but internal leadership knew. Reynolds had attended a briefing. Marcus Hayes' photo projected on the conference room screen. Our new majority shareholder. Treat him with utmost respect. Reynolds touched his intercom. Derek, this is the captain. Can you come to the cockpit? In business class, Derek Sullivan was already calling airport security. His radio crackled. Need passenger removal. Seat 4C, aggressive behavior. Assaulted crew member. The captain's voice interrupted. Derek, before you do anything, I need... Derek cut him off. Handled it, Captain. Just doing my job. He clicked off. 2 airport security officers arrived within minutes. Officer Rodriguez and Officer Carter, both in their 30s. Body cameras recording. Jessica met them at the door. Her eyes were red. Tears. Performed perfectly. He grabbed me when I asked to verify his ticket, she said. Her voice shook. I had to defend myself. I'm afraid he might become violent again. Officer Rodriguez looked at Robert, then at Jessica. The math didn't add up. Robert was small, frail, 72 years old, but Rodriguez had learned not to question the flight crew. They had authority here. FAA regulations. Sir, Rodriguez said to Robert, his tone is apologetic. I need you to gather your belongings and come with us. Robert's eyes glistened. He didn't cry. He'd learned long ago that tears changed nothing. Officers, she struck me first, he said quietly. Multiple witnesses saw it. A passenger in 5B spoke up. That's true. I recorded it. Jessica whirled around. Recording crew is a federal offense. Delete that now. The passenger's thumb hovered over his phone. He looked scared. Derek stepped forward. FAA regulations, folks. All phones down. Now. The passenger lowered his phone, but he didn't delete anything. Marcus Hayes sat motionless in 1A. Every muscle in his body was tight. His father was being humiliated, removed like a criminal. Not yet, he told himself. Let the system show its true face. Let them expose themselves completely. His phone buzzed. A reply to his text. Protocol activated. Legal team standing by. PR monitoring social media. We're ready when you are. Marcus typed back one word. Wait. Robert reached down for his briefcase. It lay under the seats where Jessica had kicked it. He got on his knees. His joints cracked. 72 years of wear. Jessica stood over him, arms crossed. Look at him. On his knees where he belongs. Passengers shifted. Some looked away. Others stared. Robert found his briefcase, pulled it out. The leather was scuffed, worn. Inside was everything that mattered. His wife's Bible, his granddaughter's graduation gift, a gold necklace, $300 in cash. He stood slowly. His knees shook. Officer Rodriguez touched his arm, gentle. Sir, please come with us. Can I get my boarding pass? Robert asked. It has my confirmation number. Jessica held up the torn pieces. Let them flutter down. Oops! A woman in 3A gasped. That's cruel! Jessica spun toward her. Want to join him? I can arrange that. The woman went silent. Derek Sullivan pulled out his tablet, started typing. Ground crew, prepare banned passenger documentation. Seat 4C. Add him to the no-fly list. Robert's head snapped up. No-fly list? For what? Assault on crew, Derek said. You're banned from Crown Atlantic for life. We share information with other airlines, too. Robert's voice cracked. I've flown for 40 years. Never had a problem. Not once. You have one now, Jessica said. She smiled. Sarah Carter stepped forward from the galley. Her voice shook. That's not what happened. I saw everything. She hit him first. Jessica's smile vanished. Sarah, go check the rear cabin. Now. I'm not lying for you anymore. Derek moved between them. His bulk is intimidating. Sarah, unless you want a write-up, follow orders. Sarah looked at Robert, then at the passengers. No one else spoke. Fear was powerful. She stepped back, but she pulled out her phone. Jessica saw it. Derek, she's recording. Take that phone. Give it here, Sarah, Derek said. This is my personal property. On company time, in company uniform. Hand it over or you're suspended. Sarah's hand trembled. 3 years of evidence on this phone. But she had backups. Cloud storage. She surrendered it. Derek powered it off, slipped it in his pocket. You'll get this back later. Maybe. Robert was led down the aisle now. Officer Rodriguez on one side, Officer Carter on the other. He walked with his head up. Briefcase clutched to his chest. Passengers whispered as he passed. Some said, I'm sorry, under their breath. Others looked ashamed. A few were typing on phones, social media posts starting. A child in 6C asked loudly, Mommy, why are they taking that nice man? Shh, baby, don't look. But the child kept looking. When Robert reached row 1, he passed Marcus. Their eyes met briefly. Marcus's face was stone, the slightest shake of his head. Not yet, Dad. Robert understood. He kept walking. At the door, Captain Reynolds emerged from the cockpit. He saw Robert being escorted off, saw the blood on his collar. Derek, what's going on? Handled, Captain. Aggressive passengers removed per protocol. Reynolds looked past Derek, saw Jessica, saw the passengers staring. Then he glanced into first class, saw Marcus Hayes. The captain's face went pale. Mr. Hayes, Reynolds said. His voice was tight. I didn't realize you were on this flight. Marcus held up one finger, said nothing. His eyes were ice. Reynolds retreated to the cockpit. His hands shook. Jessica noticed the exchange. Who's that? Nobody, Derek said. Just another passenger. Robert Hayes stepped off Flight 447 into the jetway. The door sealed behind him. Inside, Jessica exhaled, smiled. Another problem solved. 8 years. No real consequences ever. Derek patted her shoulder. Nice work. Grab a coffee. In the galley, Sarah Carter cried quietly. She'd failed Robert, failed herself. Then her backup phone buzzed in her locker, the one Derek didn't know about. A text from an unknown number. I saw everything. Keep your evidence safe. Justice is coming. M.H. Sarah's breath caught. M.H. Marcus Hayes. She wiped her tears, stood straighter. In first class, Marcus opened his laptop, pulled up Crown Atlantic's internal server. His credentials gave him access to everything. Jessica Morrison's personnel file, 23 complaints, all closed, all signed by Derek Sullivan. His brother Michael worked in HR, both protecting each other. Marcus forwarded everything to his legal team, his PR team, his attorney. Then he typed one message. Prepare a full company audit. Reopen every discrimination complaint. He pressed send. The engines started. Cabin lights dimmed for departure. Jessica walked past first class, triumphant. Didn't even glance at Marcus. She had no idea her career had just ended. 3 passengers had already uploaded videos to Twitter. #forming. #flight 447. One caption. Elderly black man assaulted by flight attendant for sitting in business class. 8 minutes online. 12,000 views. Comments flooding in. This is 2025? Sue them all. Who is this man? The plane began to push back from the gate. Jessica poured herself coffee, checked her lipstick in the galley mirror. Perfect. The aircraft door was sealed. The jetway had pulled away. Flight 447 was taxiing toward the runway. There was no turning back now. Jessica Morrison moved through the cabin with confidence. She checked the overhead bins, smiled at passengers in first class. Professional. Polished. Like nothing had happened. Derek Sullivan stood near the cockpit, his tablet open. He was typing the incident report, his version, the only version that would matter. Passenger in 4C became verbally aggressive when asked for identification. Made physical contact with senior flight attendant Morrison. Passenger removed for safety of crew and other passengers. Recommend permanent ban from all Crown Atlantic flights. He attached photos. Jessica's wrist. Red marks. Self-inflicted 30 seconds ago in the galley. No one had seen her do it. He pressed submit. The report went to Crown Atlantic's security division. To HR. To legal. Within the system, it would be processed, filed, and forgotten. Just like the 23 before it. In seat 12B, Amanda Richardson clutched her phone. She was 28, a journalist for the Atlanta Chronicle. She'd recorded everything. The slap, the blood, Robert's dignity. Her video was already uploaded, unlisted on YouTube. Link sent to her editor with a text. Breaking story. Elderly man assaulted on Crown Atlantic flight. Need legal review before we publish. Her editor replied immediately, Holy shit, get more footage. Interview witnesses when you land. This is the front page. Amanda looked around the cabin. Other passengers were typing furiously. Some were on calls, whispering urgently. The story was spreading. Uncontrolled. Viral. She opened Twitter. Searched #flight 447. Her stomach dropped. 4 videos already posted. Different angles. The slap captured perfectly in all of them. Jessica's face is clear. Her name tag is visible. Her words are audible. This seat is not for your kind. Crawl for it. I don't care about your dead wife. The tweets were exploding. Retweets in the hundreds already. Comments filled with rage. This is horrific. Fire her immediately. I'm never flying Crown Atlantic again. Someone find out who that elderly man is. One account had freeze-framed Robert's face, posted it with, "Does anyone know this man? He deserves justice." Amanda's hands shook. This was bigger than a local news story. This was national, maybe international. In first class, Marcus Hayes scrolled through the same hashtag. His face remained neutral, but his jaw was tight. His phone buzzed, his head of PR. "Sir, we have a situation. Flight 447 is trending. Multiple videos of an assault. The victim appears to be an elderly black passenger. Crown Atlantic crew involved. This is going to explode. Do we have a statement ready?" Marcus typed back, "No statement yet. Monitor closely. Prepare a crisis response team. I'll advise you in 30 minutes. Another text came in, his chief legal officer. "Marcus, I've reviewed the videos. Clear assault, potential hate crime. If Crown Atlantic doesn't act immediately, we're looking at massive liability. Federal investigation likely. Stock will tank." Marcus knew all of this. He'd known it the moment Jessica's hand struck his father's face. He typed a response. "Compile everything. Every complaint against this employee. Every similar incident in the past 2 years. I want names, dates, witnesses. Have it ready when we land." His lawyer replied, "Already on it. This is bad, Marcus. Really bad." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Yes, it was bad. For Jessica, for Derek, for everyone who'd enabled this system. But it was necessary. Sarah Carter sat in the jump seat near the rear galley. Her backup phone was hidden in her hand. She was texting her sister. "They took my work phone, but I have everything backed up. 3 years of documentation. Jessica has done this 23 times, all to passengers of color, all complaints closed by the same manager. His brother works in HR. They protect each other." Her sister replied, "Sarah, you need to go public. Now, before they bury this too." Sarah's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She'd been scared for so long, scared of losing her job, her income, her work visa status. But Robert Hayes's face kept appearing in her mind, the dignity, the quiet strength, even as they dragged him off. She opened her cloud storage, downloaded her entire Jessica Morrison incidents folder. 23 cases, photos, audio recordings, witness statements, emails showing complaints filed and mysteriously closed. She attached it all to an email, addressed it to Crown Atlantic's board of directors. Every single member. Their email addresses weren't public, but Sarah had access to internal directories. Subject line, "Pattern of racial discrimination, Flight Attendant Jessica Morrison, urgent review required." Her finger hovered over send. Not yet. Wait until landing. Wait until she was off company property. They couldn't fire her if she was already home. She saved it as a draft. Jessica appeared in the galley, poured herself more coffee, saw Sarah sitting there. "You okay, Sarah?" Her voice was syrupy. False concern. "I'm fine." "Good. Because I'd hate for you to do something stupid, like talking to passengers about what happened, or posting on social media. That would be a terminable offense." "I understand." "Do you? Because I've gotten people fired before. It's easier than you think." Jessica sipped her coffee. "You're on a work visa, right? From Korea?" Sarah's blood went cold. "Yes. Shame if you lost your job. You'd have to leave the country. Go back to Seoul. All those student loans. No way to pay them." Jessica smiled. "Just something to think about." She walked away. Sarah's hands clenched into fists. That was a threat. Direct, clear, and probably illegal. She added it to her mental list. In row 8C, Marcus Carter, no relation to Sarah, was on a call with his wife. He'd recorded the incident too. He was a civil rights attorney, worked for the ACLU. "Honey, I'm telling you, this is the clearest case of discrimination I've seen in years. Assault, false accusations, abuse of authority, and at least 10 witnesses. His wife's voice crackled through his earbuds. Did you get his name, the victim? No. They removed him before I could speak to him. But I have a video, clear audio. The flight attendant's name tag is visible. Jessica Morrison. Send it to the office. We need to find this man. Offer representation. Already done? I also sent it to 3 journalists I know. This needs to be everywhere. Another passenger, David Park in 7A, was a software engineer. He downloaded all 4 videos from Twitter, ran them through enhancement software on his laptop, cleaned up the audio, sharpened the image quality, isolated Jessica's face for facial recognition. He uploaded the enhanced versions, tagged major news outlets, CNN, MSNBC, The New York Times, The Washington Post. Elderly black man assaulted on Crown Atlantic Flight 447. Crew member Jessica Morrison. Multiple witnesses. Video evidence attached. This is unacceptable in 2025. His tweet got picked up immediately. Verified accounts started retweeting. A CNN producer responded, "Can we use this footage? Do you have contact info?" David replied, "Yes, footage is public. I'm a passenger on the flight. Happy to provide a statement upon landing." The momentum was building. Unstoppable now. In the cockpit, Captain Reynolds saw the alerts coming through on his tablet. Company notifications. Emergency messages from Crown Atlantic headquarters. Flight 447. Incident report required immediately. Flight 447. Media inquiries. Do not respond. Flight 447. Legal team on standby. His co-pilot, First Officer Kim, looked over. "What's going on?" "We have a PR nightmare," Reynolds said. "That passenger removal. It's all over social media." "The old guy? What happened?" "Jessica Morrison happened." Kim whistled low. "Again? How many times is this now?" "Too many." Reynolds rubbed his face. "And we have Marcus Hayes in first class." "Who's that?" "Our new majority shareholder, CEO of Hayes Global Holdings." Kim's eyes went wide. "Oh, shit." "Yeah, oh, shit." Reynolds pulled up the passenger manifest again, looked at seat 4C, the removed passenger. Robert Hayes, then looked at seat 1A. Marcus Hayes, same last name. Reynolds' stomach dropped. No. He scrolled through Robert's booking details. Emergency contact listed Marcus Hayes. Relationship, son. "Oh my God," Reynolds whispered. "What?" "The passenger Jessica assaulted. That's Marcus Hayes' father." The color drained from Kim's face. "She assaulted the CEO's father?" "She doesn't know. Nobody told her." "Shouldn't we?" "No." Reynolds' hands shook. "We're staying in this cockpit. We're landing this plane. And then we're letting this play out however it's going to play out." "But that woman destroyed her career. She destroyed Derek's career. She probably destroyed mine too. And there's nothing we can do about it now." The plane climbed to cruising altitude, 35,000 feet. The seatbelt sign dinged off. Jessica walked through the cabin, offered drinks, smiled at passengers. Some accepted. Others turned away, wouldn't even look at her. She noticed. "Is there a problem?" she asked a woman in 5C. The woman stared at her phone. "No problem." Jessica looked closer, saw her own face on the screen. A video. The slap playing on loop. Her smile faltered. "Where did you get that?" "It's everywhere," the woman said quietly. "You're trending." Jessica's heart started to race. She moved to the next row, another passenger watching a video, the same video, row after row. Everyone was watching. Her hands started to shake. She retreated to the galley, pulled out her own phone, searched for her name, Jessica Morrison. Autocomplete suggested, Jessica Morrison, Crown Atlantic. Jessica Morrison, assault. Jessica Morrison, racist. She clicked the first result. Her face filled the screen. The video from 20 minutes ago already had 200,000 views. The comments were brutal. Fire her. Arrest her. She belongs in prison. This is what systematic racism looks like. Jessica's knees went weak. This couldn't be happening. She'd done her job. She'd followed protocol. She'd defended herself. But the video didn't lie. It showed everything. Her words, her actions, the blood. Derek appeared beside her. Jessica, we have a problem. The plane leveled at cruising altitude. The cabin lights brightened. Jessica stood in the galley staring at her phone. Her face had gone pale. The videos kept multiplying. Every refresh brought new posts, new angles, new hashtags. Hatch, Flight 47. Justice for. Hayes and hash fire. Jessica Morrison hashtag boycott Crown. Atlantic. Derek Sullivan grabbed her arm, pulled her deeper into the galley where passengers couldn't see. Put that away, he hissed. Don't look at social media. Don't respond to anything. Derek, it's everywhere. My name, my face, they're calling me a racist. Let it blow over. These things always do. By tomorrow, something else will be trending. But Derek's own hands were shaking. His phone kept buzzing. Messages from his brother Michael in HR. Derek, what the hell happened on your flight? Legal is asking questions. The board is freaking out. Call me now! Derek silenced his phone, shoved it in his pocket. Jessica grabbed his sleeve. What do we do? Nothing. We land. We file our reports. We go home. This will disappear. But his voice lacked conviction. The intercom clicked on. Captain Reynolds' voice filled the cabin. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we're at our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. Flight time to Chicago will be approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes. A pause, longer than normal. Before we begin our beverage service, I need to address something. Jessica's head snapped up. I've been made aware of an incident during boarding. I want to assure all passengers that Crown Atlantic takes such matters very seriously. A full investigation will be conducted upon landing. Jessica felt the cabin's eyes turning toward her. Every passenger knew. Everyone had seen. Additionally, Reynolds continued, his voice tight, I've been informed that we have a distinguished guest aboard today, Mr. Marcus Hayes, CEO of Hayes Global Holdings. The cabin went silent. Jessica's brow furrowed. That name. Why did it sound familiar? Derek's face had turned gray. For those unaware, Reynolds said, Hayes Global Holdings recently became the majority shareholder of Crown Atlantic Airlines. Mr. Hayes now oversees all operations, personnel decisions, and company policy. Jessica's knees buckled. She grabbed the galley counter. No. Mr. Hayes has requested to address the cabin. I'm turning over the intercom now. The click of the mic switching hands. Then a new voice. Deep, controlled, cold. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Hayes. In seat 1A, Marcus stood. He held the cabin phone. His eyes swept across business class, landing on Jessica, locking there. The man your crew just assaulted and removed from this aircraft is my father, Robert Hayes. Collective gasps rippled through the cabin. Jessica's hand flew to her mouth. Her eyes went wide. She looked at Derek. He was frozen, paralyzed. Marcus continued. His voice never wavered. Each word is precise, measured. My father is a 72-year-old veteran. He served in Vietnam. He worked for the United States Postal Service for 40 years. He's never been arrested, never had a complaint filed against him. He's never missed a bill payment in his life. Passengers were leaning forward, hanging on every word. 6 months ago, I told my father I wanted to buy him a business class ticket to fly to my daughter's graduation, his granddaughter, Maya Hayes. She's graduating from Northwestern, pre-med, top of her class. Marcus's voice tightened slightly, emotion breaking through. My father refused. He said he'd buy his own ticket, said he'd saved his whole life to provide for his family. He wanted this one thing for himself, to sit in business class just once, to feel like his hard work meant something. Silence. Complete silence. I was supposed to meet him at the airport, but I decided to surprise him. I booked myself on the same flight, first class. I wanted to see his face when he experienced the comfort he'd earned. Marcus paused. Let that sink in. Instead, I watched a member of this airline's crew verbally abuse him, physically assault him, accuse him of theft, of lying, of not belonging. His eyes never left Jessica. I watched her destroy his ticket, kick his belongings, mock his dead wife, and then strike him in the face, hard enough to draw blood, hard enough to break his glasses. A woman in row 6 started crying. I watched airport security remove my father like a criminal, while the woman who assaulted him stood there smiling. Marcus lowered the phone slightly, spoke directly to the cabin now, not through the intercom. Some of you are wondering why I didn't intervene. Why did I let it happen? He stepped into the aisle. Because I needed to see it. All of it. I needed to watch the system expose itself. I needed to see how far it would go, how many people would stay silent, how many would participate. He walked slowly toward business class, toward the galley, toward Jessica. And now you're all witnesses. You've all seen it. You can't unsee it. You can't pretend it didn't happen. Derek moved to block his path. Mr. Hayes, I think we should discuss this privately. Step aside, Derek. Sir, if we could just step aside. The command was absolute. Derek moved. Marcus reached the galley. Jessica backed against the counter. Her face was tear-streaked. Her hands shook. Mr. Hayes, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know he was your father. Marcus stared at her, long and hard. That's the problem, Jessica. You didn't need to know, because it shouldn't matter. Whether he's my father or a stranger, whether he's a CEO or a janitor, he deserved basic human dignity. His voice dropped lower, more dangerous. But since we're discussing what you didn't know, let me educate you. He pulled out his phone, turned it toward the cabin, projected his screen onto the overhead monitors using the aircraft's Wi-Fi system. A document appeared. Jessica Morrison's personnel file. 23 complaints filed against you in the past 3 years, all involving passengers of color, all mysteriously closed without investigation. He scrolled. Names appeared, dates, incidents. Passenger Zhao, Chinese-American. You accused him of speaking too loudly in Mandarin, had him moved to the rear of the plane. Passenger Martinez, Hispanic. You accused her of stealing a blanket, the blanket you had given her. Passenger Johnson, black teenager. You had him removed for suspicious behavior. He was reading a physics textbook. Each name hit like a hammer. Passengers gasped. Some pulled out their phones, recording everything. Passenger Williams, Passenger Rodriguez, Passenger Kim, Passenger Abu Baker. The list went on and on. Every single complaint filed. Every single complaint closed. All signed off by the same person. Marcus turned to Derek. Derek Sullivan, route manager. Your signature on every dismissal, every cover-up. Derek's mouth opened. Nothing came out. And do you know who processed these dismissals in HR? Who made sure they never reached the ethics board? Marcus pulled up another file. Michael Sullivan, Derek's brother, HR compliance officer, brotherly loyalty, systematic corruption. The cabin erupted in angry murmurs. Sarah Carter appeared from the rear galley. She'd been listening to everything. She walked forward, stood beside Marcus. I can confirm all of this, she said. Her voice is steady now, strong. I've been documenting Jessica's behavior for 3 years. I have recordings, photos, witness statements from other crew members too scared to speak up. She pulled out her backup phone, held it up. I have evidence of 23 incidents. I filed reports after each one. Every report was dismissed. I was told to stay quiet or face termination. Marcus nodded at her. Sarah Carter, you're now acting route manager, effective immediately. Your first task is to cooperate with the independent investigation I'm ordering. Sarah's eyes widened. Sir, You chose integrity over comfort. That's the kind of leadership this airline needs. He turned back to Derek. Derek Sullivan, you're terminated. Effective immediately. Security will escort you off this aircraft when we land. Your brother Michael is also terminated. Both of you will be referred to the Department of Justice for obstruction of justice and civil rights violations. Derek's face went red. You can't just... I have a contract. Your contract includes a morality clause. You violated it 23 times that we can prove. Probably more. My legal team will be in touch. Marcus turned to Jessica. She was sobbing now, mascara running. Her perfect image was destroyed. Jessica Morrison, you committed assault. On camera, with multiple witnesses. Captain Reynolds will contact the Chicago Police Department. You will be arrested upon landing. Please, Jessica choked out. I didn't mean... I was just doing my job. Your job is customer service, not racial profiling, not assault. Marcus pulled out his phone, made a call, put it on speaker. It rang twice. Hello? Robert's voice, confused, tired. Dad, it's Marcus. I'm on the plane. Everyone can hear you. Son? What's going on? I need you to come back to the gate. I'm having them turn the plane around. Silence on the other end. Marcus, you don't need to do this. I'm fine. I'll catch the next flight. No, Dad. You're catching this flight, in the seat you paid for, with the dignity you deserve. Robert's voice cracked. Son? Trust me, Dad. Please. A long pause. Then, okay, I'm still in the terminal. Marcus hung up, turned to Captain Reynolds, who had emerged from the cockpit. Captain, return to the gate. We're boarding one additional passenger. Reynolds nodded immediately. Yes, sir. Returning to gate now. The plane banked. Passengers felt the turn. Confusion rippled through the cabin. Jessica slumped to the floor, sobbing. Derek stood frozen, useless. Marcus addressed the entire cabin. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this delay, but some things are more important than schedules. Dignity, justice, accountability. He paused. Crown Atlantic Airlines has a problem. A systematic problem. For too long, complaints about discrimination have been ignored, buried, dismissed. That ends today. He pulled up another screen on the monitors. I'm announcing a $50 million fund for victims of discrimination on Crown Atlantic flights. Every complaint filed in the past 5 years will be reopened, investigated independently. Every victim will be contacted, compensated, heard. Applause broke out. Slowly at first, then building. Soon the entire cabin was clapping. Additionally, I'm implementing an independent oversight board, external auditors, quarterly bias training, real training, not checkbox exercises, and a whistleblower protection program with financial incentives. More applause. Because what happened to my father happens every day. To thousands of people. In airports, on planes, in hotels, in stores, everywhere. And it only stops when we decide it stops. The plane touched down, rolled back to the gate. The jetway extended. The door opened. Robert Hayes stood there, His shirt was still blood-stained. His face was bruised, but his head was high. Marcus walked to the door, met his father. They embraced. The entire cabin stood, applauded, cheered. Robert's eyes welled up. He looked at all these strangers, clapping for him, for his dignity, for justice. Jessica remained on the galley floor, destroyed. Derek stood against the wall, powerless. Marcus led his father to seat 4C, the seat he'd paid for. Then Marcus made an announcement. "Actually, Dad, you're sitting in first class, seat 1B, next to me." He upgraded Robert on the spot, led him to first class, seated him in the cream leather. A flight attendant, not Jessica, brought champagne. "With the airline's deepest apologies, Mr. Hayes." Robert took the glass, looked at his son. "You didn't let anger make you cruel," Robert said quietly. "You let it make you just." Marcus's eyes reddened. "I learned from you, Dad." The plane pushed back again, this time with the right passenger in the right seat. As they taxied, Marcus pulled out his phone, checked social media. Hashtag Flight 447 was trending worldwide. Number 1, 4 million views. Major news outlets picking it up. CNN. Breaking. Airline CEO's father assaulted on Crown Atlantic flight. MSNBC. Shocking video shows. Elderly black man attacked by flight attendant. New York Times. Discrimination investigation launched after viral video. The story was everywhere. Justice was being served, publicly, undeniably, and it was only the beginning. 48 hours later, Jessica Morrison sat in a Chicago police station, her hands cuffed to a metal table. Her lawyer beside her looked exhausted. The charges: assault and battery, federal interference with flight crew duties. The irony was sharp. She'd accused Robert of the crime she committed. Bail was set at $50,000. She couldn't afford it. Her bank account held $6,000. Her credit cards were maxed. She'd been fired before the plane landed. Her flight attendant license was suspended. Her face was everywhere. The most hated woman in America. Derek Sullivan faced similar charges, plus conspiracy to obstruct justice. His brother Michael was arrested at Crown Atlantic headquarters. FBI agents walked him out in handcuffs. Employees filmed it, posted it online. Justice served in real time. 1 week after Flight 447, Marcus Hayes stood at a podium in Crown Atlantic's headquarters. Cameras everywhere. Every major news outlet present. "Good morning. I'm Marcus Hayes, CEO of Hayes Global Holdings and majority shareholder of Crown Atlantic Airlines. I'm here to address Flight 447 and announce immediate changes." He clicked the first slide. First, a $50 million dignity restoration fund. Every passenger who filed a discrimination complaint in the past 5 years will be contacted. Cases reviewed independently. Victims compensated fairly. Reporters scribbled notes. Cameras flashed. Second, an independent oversight board, chaired by civil rights leaders, representatives from the NAACP, Anti-Defamation League, and ACLU. Full access to all records, all files, all communications. Click. Next slide. Third, mandatory quarterly bias training. Real training, facilitated by experts, not online modules. Attendance verified, performance measured. Fourth, whistleblower protection and incentives. Employees who report discrimination will be protected and rewarded. $10,000 per verified report. The room buzzed. Unprecedented. Fifth, public transparency. Crown Atlantic will publish discrimination complaint statistics quarterly. Number filed, number investigated. Outcomes. Full transparency. Marcus paused. These changes are effective immediately. Not next month. Today. A reporter raised her hand. "Mr. Hayes, what about your father?" Marcus's expression softened. "My father is home. Healing. He attended my daughter's graduation. Maya graduated with highest honors. My father sat in the front row, where he belonged. Another reporter. Will he press charges? That's his decision. I support whatever he chooses. What about the financial impact? Your stock dropped 12%. Marcus nodded. Yes, because we failed our customers. But I believe the market rewards companies that do right. Long term, these changes will strengthen Crown Atlantic. He was right. Within 2 weeks, the stock rebounded, rose 34% above its previous high. 2 weeks after the incident, Robert Hayes sat in his living room in Atlanta, the house he'd shared with Margaret for 43 years. His face had healed. The bruise faded to yellow. The cut was a thin line now, but something deeper had changed. His phone rang constantly, news outlets, lawyers, civil rights organizations asking him to speak. He declined most. He wasn't a public speaker, wasn't an activist, just a man who'd bought a plane ticket. But one invitation he accepted. His church, Bethel AME, held an appreciation service. The sanctuary was packed, standing room only. Pastor Davis stood at the pulpit, his voice booming. Brother Robert Hayes didn't ask for this fight, but when injustice stood before him, he didn't surrender his dignity. The congregation erupted. Amen. Preach. Brother Hayes showed us that power isn't in raising your voice, it's in keeping your composure. Power isn't in fighting back with fists, it's standing firm with principle. Robert sat in the front pew, uncomfortable with attention, but grateful. After the service, dozens approached him, shared their stories. An older black woman. I was removed from a flight in 1987. They said my ticket was suspicious. Nobody believed me. Thank you. A young Hispanic man. I get randomly selected every time I fly. Every time. Now maybe that'll change. A middle-aged Asian woman. My daughter was humiliated last year. The airline did nothing. You gave us hope. Story after story. Robert listened to each one, held space for their pain. That evening, he sat alone in his kitchen, pulled out Margaret's photo. I wish you could have seen it, Maggie, he whispered. Our boy, the way he stood up, not just for me, for everyone. He could almost hear her voice. I always knew that boy would change the world. Robert smiled, wiped his eyes. 6 months later, Crown Atlantic looked different. Flight crew diversity increased dramatically. Training programs were rigorous, real. Employees felt safer speaking up. 217 former passengers came forward. 162 received compensation, apologies, validation. The Department of Transportation launched an industry-wide investigation. 5 other airlines showed similar patterns. Congressional hearings scheduled. Senator Williams from California. The Hayes incident wasn't isolated. It was systemic failure. We're introducing the Robert Hayes Fair Travel Act. The bill gained bipartisan support. Injustice caught on camera united people. Sarah Carter sat in her new office, VP of Employee Relations, a title she'd never imagined. She'd become the face of corporate whistleblowing, featured in Time magazine. The flight attendant who wouldn't look away. Her bystander to upstander training program was implemented across Crown Atlantic. Then 12 other airlines adopted it. Change was happening, slowly, imperfectly, but undeniably. Jessica Morrison, 6 months into court-mandated therapy, sat across from Dr. Patterson. When did you first feel superior to others based on race? The therapist asked. Jessica broke down. Years of unchallenged beliefs. Her father's racist views. She'd never questioned them. She attended a restorative justice circle. Robert chose to participate. Jessica, crying, I can't undo what I did. I can't give you back your dignity. Robert looked at her steadily. You never took it. You just tested it. The question is, what you do now. Jessica began volunteering with a racial justice organization. The road was long, but she'd taken the first steps. Redemption wasn't forgiveness. It was accountability plus change. 1 year after Flight 447, Robert Hayes boarded another Crown Atlantic flight. Same route, Atlanta to Chicago. His heart beat faster than he'd like. Last time, he'd been assaulted, humiliated, removed. But Maya's white coat ceremony was tomorrow. Medical school. She was becoming a doctor. He stepped onto the aircraft. The crew recognized him immediately. "Mr. Hayes?" The flight attendant, James Washington, extended his hand. "It's an honor to serve you today, sir." The captain emerged. "Mr. Hayes, welcome aboard. If you need anything, please let us know." Robert found his seat. 4C, the same seat. But everything was different. The crew was diverse, professional, kind. New policies posted: dignity, respect, justice. He settled in. A text from Marcus appeared. "Dad, I reserved the seat next to you, but left it empty, with a rose. For Mom." Robert looked. Seat 4B, empty. A white rose on the tray table. A small plaque, "In memory of Margaret Hayes." Tears streamed down his face. The plane pushed back. Engines hummed. Robert closed his eyes. He could feel Margaret beside him, could hear her laugh, could sense her pride. This seat, this moment, this victory, it was for her, for them, for everyone who'd been told they didn't belong. The plane lifted into the sky. Robert Hayes flew in dignity. Finally, completely. This story isn't about one flight attendant or one airline. It's about the systems we build, and the courage required to dismantle them when they fail our most vulnerable. Robert Hayes never raised his voice, never responded with violence, never abandoned his principles. His weapon was unwavering dignity. In an interview 6 months later, Robert said something that went viral again. "They can take your seat, your briefcase, even your pride. But your dignity? That's yours to keep or give away. I chose to keep mine." Those words were shared 2 million times, printed on posters, quoted in sermons, taught in classrooms, because dignity isn't given, it's maintained. Even when others try to strip it away. Sarah Carter's role shows us something equally powerful. 3 years of documentation. She could have stayed silent, kept her job, avoided risk. Instead, she chose courage over comfort. If you see something, record it, report it. Refuse to be complicit, she said in her Time interview. Statistics show 67% of discrimination incidents have witnesses who stay silent. Fear of retaliation, fear of confrontation, fear of being wrong. But what if just 10% spoke up? The system would collapse, because abuse of power requires silence to survive. Marcus Hayes had power, but timing mattered. He let the system expose itself fully before intervening. He could have stopped Jessica immediately, pulled rank, ended it in seconds. But then only Jessica would have faced consequences. The system protecting her would have remained hidden. Marcus used power not for revenge, but for reform. "Power isn't about dominance," he said at Harvard Business School. "It's about protection. Use yours to shield, not to strike." Power wielded for personal satisfaction is tyranny. Power wielded for systemic change is justice. What about Jessica Morrison? What about redemption? 6 months of therapy. Restorative justice circles. Volunteering with racial justice organizations. She's doing the work. But redemption isn't erasing the past. It's refusing to repeat it. It's not an absolution. It's accountability plus sustained change. Jessica lost her career, faced criminal charges, became a public example. Those were necessary consequences. But after the consequences, we can offer a path forward. Not forgiveness, not forgetting, but the possibility of becoming better. So what do we do? How do we create change? 5 individual actions matter. First, document. Your phone camera is an accountability tool. Record incidents. Save evidence. Second, speak up. Break the silence. Support victims publicly. Your voice adds weight. Third, amplify. Share stories of injustice. Use your platforms. Silence protects abusers. Fourth, demand action. Contact companies. Be specific. I'm boycotting until you address complaint X filed on Y date. Fifth, support organizations. NOACP, ACLU, Anti-Defamation League. They need resources. 5 systemic actions. First, vote. For leaders who prioritize civil rights enforcement, who fund oversight agencies. Second, boycott. Companies feel it in their stock price. Money talks. Third, advocate. Push for legislation like the Robert Hayes Act. Call representatives. Attend town halls. Fourth, invest. Support businesses with genuine diversity commitments. Real policies. Real results. Fifth, educate. Have difficult conversations about race and power. At dinner tables. In workplaces. Discomfort is where growth happens. Ask yourself hard questions. Have you ever witnessed discrimination and stayed silent? What stopped you? What would you do if you were on Flight 447? Would you record? Would you speak up? What power do you have? Your voice, your vote, your wallet. How are you using it? Robert's story is one of millions. Black Americans are 3 times more likely to experience public discrimination. Airlines, retail, restaurants, healthcare. No industry is exempt. But every viral moment creates accountability pressure. Flight 447 joined BBQ Becky, Permit Patty, Central Park Karen. Each incident forced institutions to respond. We haven't fixed systemic racism. One CEO, one airline, one viral video won't end centuries of injustice. But every Robert Hayes who refuses to surrender dignity moves the needle. Every Sarah Carter who refuses to stay silent moves it further. Every Marcus Hayes who refuses to hoard power moves it more. Slowly, painfully, but undeniably. Margaret Hayes used to say, "Baby, the arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice." Robert finally understands. It doesn't bend by itself. We bend it. One dignified moment at a time. So here's my question to you. When your moment comes, and it will come, will you be the person who speaks up, or the person who looks away? Because Flight 447 taught us something no video could capture. Justice isn't a spectator sport. It requires all of us. If this story moved you, share it. Not for likes, not for views. Share it because someone in your network needs to hear that their dignity matters. That their voice matters, that they matter. Leave a comment. Tell us your story. When did you speak up? When did you stay silent? What will you do differently next time? Subscribe. Because stories like this need to be told. Dignity needs to be defended. Justice needs to be demanded. Your moment is coming. Be ready. Justice. For Mr. Hayes. Dignity matters. Speak up.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.